All right, I am so excited. I am here with Kathryn Montesano. Kathryn is currently the Executive Director of Specialty Multi Accounts and Amazon at Estee Lauder, where she leads omni-channel growth strategies across key realtors and key retailers and digital platforms. This is her third time around at Estee Lauder Corporation. I'm sure they are so excited to see her. Coming back to beauty after a decade working in fashion at brands such as Giorgio Armani and Alexander Wang. Originally from Indiana, Kathryn lived in New York City for 19 years before relocating to Miami in 2022, where she had worked mostly long distance hybrid. We've all been there. She, she feels lucky that she gets to talk about makeup and skincare all day at work. Welcome, Kathryn.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie. I'm so excited.
I am so excited to have you here and to talk about working in the beauty industry. It's obviously a humongous industry and it's a lot of people's dreams. I think we were just chatting offline about sort of that reminiscent like early 2000s Cosmo glamour. And I know
Totally.
I personally like loved flipping through the magazines and seeing like the beauty spreads, like what are the hot makeup trends, what is the fun skincare. So I would just love to hear a little bit about when you think about beauty, what does that mean for you?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's, multi-layered now since I work in the industry. So it can be kind of dollars and cents, and it can also just be that feeling that you get. And I remember my mom's was a teacher, and I remember saying, you're changing people's lives. And I'm just like selling expensive lipstick. And she's like, no, because when people put on makeup, when they put on skincare, it makes them feel good about themselves. It's a moment of self-care. And I always kind of go back to that. And that's obviously a very trending topic when it comes to beauty right now, is taking that moment for self-care in your routine. So I think it's a really fun way for people to be really kind to themselves, make themselves feel beautiful. And that doesn't necessarily mean a full, night out glam. It can just be putting on moisturizer before you go to bed and really taking that time to treat yourself in a special way.
Absolutely. And it's so nice that you say that there are so many different levels to helping people, and some of it really is that element of just helping people feel a little bit more comfortable in their skin, helping them to sort of notice and appreciate the natural beauty that everybody has. It looks different on everybody, but everybody has that level of like natural beauty and the things that they can highlight, either literally with highlighter or
Literally, yeah.
or simply choose to, accent and to bring a little bit of fun element to it, either through makeup or through skincare. So it's so fun to hear.
Yeah, definitely.
And sort of related to that, I would love to hear a little bit about, this is your third time specifically at Estee Lauder. What types of responsibilities do you get to take care of in your current role, or what have you been able to do in past roles?
So I'm really lucky in my current role, and it's totally different than the first role I had at Lauder, but kind of more similar to the second. The first role I had at Lauder, I actually took a chance. I'd been working in financial services, and before that, I had thought I was going to be working in the fashion industry. So I applied for a job there in planning, not really understanding what planning was. And then I get there, and they're like, "You're in an Excel spreadsheet all day." Total panic attack. I didn't know how to work Excel at all at the time. It actually quite funny looking back. I think only like that my naivety could like get me through, because I was so underwater in the skill set that I needed, especially at the level I was hired at. And that was working for Clinique on the global brand side, which was really fun because we were really close to global product development and global marketing when they're figuring out exactly what products they're going to launch and the global campaign messaging around it. And I also had a role where we did the forecasting for all of the different markets around the world. So I got to talk to every single country that sold Clinique, which was really, really fun. Got to travel to Singapore and to Paris in that job when I was like 25 years old. It was so cool. And then I continued in planning. I got the hang of Excel, and I ended up working in fashion for 10 years doing planning, supporting sales. But I have an outgoing personality, and I always really thought that sales had such a fun job, and you kind of get to do a little more of the fun activities with your accounts and things. So when I moved to Miami, I got a job working at Smashbox and Glam Glow, working remote. They are based in LA, which I really liked working Pacific hours, East Coast, which is another story. But that position and my current position, I'm focused on the relationship between the brand and the retailer at the corporate level. So we manage the relationship with Ulta, with Sephora, with Amazon, and basically it's every day is a little different, but we're essentially trying to figure out how to sell the most product as possible and be the most profitable. And why I kind of get mystified at just how fun and silly sometimes it can be is we'll have these super in-depth conversations at work about how many foundations can we fit in the visual merchandising, how many mascaras did we sell last month, can we put a new shade of lipstick here, is there enough room, is there enough demand, and we'll just get into these really intense thought-provoking conversations, but we're talking about makeup, lipstick, serum, and that's kind of what always makes me smile. So even when things get really intense, I try to bring myself back to the fact that I'm talking about makeup all day.
That sounds so fun, though, just to be able to take something that is so tangible and data driven and really like, okay, we have something to sink our teeth into, but we know that what it relates to, it's the back end of something that is actually
Exactly.
so beautiful, colorful, fun, and it helps people feel great about themselves.
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly. It's
that's so
very
fun.
fun to see a product when we first get introduced to the product on the corporate side. Global has put a lot of time in developing the product, the packaging, the deciding what clinical claims they're going to make on it, and then the campaign that goes around it to bring it to life in the market. So it's really fun when you get to see the whole process get out. We just had a product launch this week, actually, and it was so exciting to see the campaign out there on Instagram, people getting excited. It's very fun.
Oh, I love that. And then to really be able to see the entire journey of the product
Exactly.
from its initial like development all the way into seeing it in stores, in people's baskets, literally,
Exactly.
digitally, and seeing them use it. That's so much fun. That's such
It's
a
really fun.
yeah, and it's such a cool way to sort of work through the product cycle, and it's a really nice way to sort of also think about makeup is not just what we see in the stores, but there's that entire years long process that goes
Years
into
long, especially at a larger company. It's quite literally multiple years long. One of the products that we're working on for next year has been 7 years in development, so it's
wow.
really a years long process.
That is a long time. But that also
Yes,
provides a lot of comfort in saying, okay, this isn't something that has just been rushed to market simply for the fact that we're trying to, push X, Y, or Z. But it shows the dedication to the product and the commitment to the client of saying, we value you and we want to show you and give you our best so that are you feel that level of commitment that we are putting into our
totally.
products because you are using them.
Lots of confidence. And I think that's an advantage of working at a larger, more established company. There's advantages and disadvantages when it comes to how we bring products to market, but those types of things are definitely an advantage.
Absolutely. I love that. So something that I'm a little bit curious about, and this can simply be opinion based, but I would love to hear if there are any beauty myths that you would like to debunk.
Well, that's a great question. I think a super common one, and I might be semi guilty of peddling this, but one is that you need, 12 steps in your skincare routine to, have glass skin and have the most perfect skin. Really, a skincare routine probably has, simple, I'd say maybe 4-step routine. And it also does not, even though I work at a luxury premium brand, it does not have to be luxury premium expensive products. There's a lot of really, really awesome products that I like to play with that are way accessible to every consumer. I think that is probably one of the biggest ones.
Okay, that makes me feel very validated because I think my skincare routine is about 5 steps.
I feel like that's more than most also and probably perfect.
Oh, oh, yay. That makes me so happy. Um, oh my gosh, so this has been incredible. I would love to hear what is your dream beauty opportunity? So if you were to pick anything that you got to sort of be a part of in your work in the beauty industry, what would be that like dream yes that the dream opportunity that you would say yes to?
I love that. I've thought about this a lot, to be very honest with you. And I think that could go a few different ways. One, I would love to work with other countries at some point in time, especially in Europe where and Korea, where they both lead a lot of different skincare trends. And a lot of manufacturing happens there. A lot of really amazing product is produced there. So I'd love to have the opportunity to work closely with different markets from more of a leadership level, since I got to do that kind of on more at the bottom of the rung in my past life. And then I would also really like to have opportunity to work with a brand that's more emerging. Maybe it's a brand that a big portfolio like Estee Lauder decides to acquire and help bring it to life in the market in a bigger way. And I really love leading teams, and I love helping people figure out what's going on in their career, especially when it comes to beauty, because it's one of those things, just like many industries, until you're in it, you don't really realize how many different roles and responsibilities and what it takes to get a product to market. So I think it would be really fun to help other people figure out what their journey is on a larger scale beyond the kind of small team that I manage now.
That's so fun. And it's so fun to hear that there are still so many different things that sort of get you going. You know what I mean? Like so many different opportunities where you're like, yes, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. And it sounds
Thank
like it's
you.
all very possible, which is so exciting.
I appreciate that. It is really exciting. Like I've said to you many times, I feel so lucky to be in this industry. It's just really fun. It's very supportive. There's a lot of women in this industry, which is really awesome. And I just feel like, like I said, it blows my mind that I'm talking about skincare and serum and lipstick all day. I think it's the coolest thing ever.
Oh, that's so incredible. So I would love to hear as sort of our final question. I know I'm personally like, wow, maybe I want to work in the beauty industry now. Like I have been influenced by this conversation. But I'm sure that there are hundreds of thousands of people out there who their dream is also to work in the beauty industry and their dream is to end up in a position like yours further down in their career. So, do you have any advice for people who are either just starting out in their careers or they're potentially looking for a career change and they think that the beauty industry is where they want to end up?
Sure. And I feel really passionate about everyone exploring their desires when it comes to career, because you spend so much time at work, whether you're working a long distance hybrid. And I say that because I live in Miami and I get to work for a New York based office, which is another thing that I think is so cool. And I branded it long distance hybrid to make myself more marketable when I was looking for jobs because I was willing to travel. So I would say, as I said, there's so many different pieces to the puzzle when it comes to working at a beauty company. At the end of the day, we're a consumer product. And so, consumer products could be crackers, it can be, cars, it can be beauty. So I think that there's a lot of translatable skills from other industries. Like maybe you do supply chain planning for an aerospace company, you could come do supply chain planning for a beauty company. There's a lot of translatable skills when it comes to that. Same for marketing, same for creative positions, same for sales, like the position I have. So I would, recommend kind of figuring out how you can translate the skills that you already have. We have copywriters, like there's just so many things that are so many similar to other industries, especially industries that touch consumers or B2B in some way. So I would just encourage and look on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is an amazing resource to do some research and figure out what's the best avenue.
Incredible. That is such helpful advice. And I think it's also very encouraging to hear that your experience doesn't have to be beauty related. And it's also a really nice way for someone, for any person to look at what they've done. And if they look at it from the skill set standpoint of like, oh, yeah, okay, I have done these things and I have gained these skills and they are translatable into this new industry that I want
Exactly.
to move into.
Exactly.
Hooray. Oh, this has been such a fun conversation.
Thank
I could
you.
keep talking forever about
Me
this.
too.
But I think it is time to move on to the baker's dozen.
Awesome.
Um, my gosh. Okay. I love this segment. It is 13 rapid fire question and answers for us to get to know you a little bit better.
Love it.
Are you ready?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning, 100%.
Me too. If we hit play on your phone, what would we hear?
Tink's podcast. I'm obsessed with Tink.
She's good. Do you have a vice?
Great question. I've cycled through many vices in my life. I think currently it's coffee. Pretty low key these days.
If you weren't an executive director at Estee Lauder, what job would you want?
I think I'd be working in fashion more practically. Dream job has always been to work as a curator at a museum, though.
Any specific type of museum?
Probably a modern art one.
Ooh, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Do you have a daily non-negotiable?
The coffee, obviously, and I think walking to me, really important. Get outside, especially coming from New York, where you have to walk a lot more, moving around.
I love that. Song you would want to hear on your deathbed?
Oh, that's a good question. I love music, though I'm not like a huge music fanatic. I've always been obsessed with Dave Matthews. I feel like that's very millennial cringe, so it would be something Dave Matthews.
Is there a moment that you would like to do over?
Oh, great question. My wedding, probably. Also, my dad passed when I was younger, and there were
I'm
vacations
sorry.
and moments with him I would love to relive.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush. Oh, that's a really good. These are fabulous questions. Not super of the moment, but I love Joe Manganiello, and I just think he's so cute. So we can stick with him.
Perfect crush. What would be the title of your autobiography?
um, do it twice to make sure you didn't like it the first time.
I like that one. What is something that you're currently loving?
Something that I'm currently loving. Well, because I live in Miami, I'm loving sunscreen in all different forms to bring it back to beauty. Like I have literally 2 or 3 different kinds sitting on my desk right now. And it's a really important non-negotiable step in everyone's skincare routine.
Absolutely. So this probably goes great with our next question. A product you can't live without.
Well, since I already said sunscreen, I'll say a really good lip product, but not one with color. It needs to be like something that's actually hydrating my lips, like not sticky. It has to be, I need like 2 or 3 in my bag and stuck around my house, like in all places at all times.
I have a one lip balm that I'm very devoted to, and I buy it in bulk and I just leave them
Exactly.
everywhere.
That's the way to do it. I love that.
What is the best advice you've ever received?
Ironic since I love to talk, but kind of like, talk less, listen more.
That is good advice. And number 13, if you could only drink one thing for the rest of your life, and I think I can guess what it is, what would it be?
Room temp water.
Whoa.
A
I
high
would have said
quality
coffee.
filtered water. Yeah, no, not too much coffee. There is a breaking point. But no, I filter in a plastic free like gravity filter. If I could carry that filter around with me everywhere, room temp filtered water, tons of it.
I do also drink a lot of room temp water. That's a good one.
Which is a controversial, but much better for you.
Oh, 100%. Kathryn, this has been an incredible conversation. It has been so nice to reconnect. And for people who are catching this and they want to connect with you for the first time, where can people find you?
You can look me up on LinkedIn, Kathryn Montesano, or you can find me on Instagram. Not that I have a huge following or am a very active poster, but at Kat Montesano.
Awesome. Kathryn, thank you so much for your time today. This has been
Thank you,
a
Katie.
beautiful conversation. I love talking beauty. I love talking the combo of beauty and business.
Yes.
It's been incredible. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for the opportunity. It was really fun.
Yay.